Can you?
No, I came before him.
Yes, Honorable
He
Obos.
only sat here.
Honorable Obos, our senior, can we proceed?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and colleagues. I'm here to respond to the issue of 300 iron sheets that was given to me on 30th of January. I had given...
Have you given us copies?
Yes, about 20,
Thank you. Thank
25
you so
or 26 copies. And I gave a small background that on 5th of September 2019, I had written a letter to the Prime Minister, among other officers, including to the Minister of State for Northern Uganda, requesting for iron sheets, 3,454 iron sheets, for specific reasons indicated in those in that letter. On the 17th of September that very year, I got a response that my request would be considered in the future. The sum total of this is that on 29th of January, when I got a call from my PA that I had been allocated 300 iron sheets from OPM in Namamve, I quickly arranged for transport the next day, and I asked one of the young boys known to me to go and pick it and take it to Tororo. And then subsequently, it was distributed to 2 churches. One was Mulanda Church of Uganda, 167 pieces, which has been roofed. Some black and white photographs are there. Another one is for Kiyei, 137 pieces. The acknowledgements, and they are also there. And I want to state that the contacts of those are there. I want to state, as I conclude, that I didn't know or have any reason to know that the iron sheets allocated to me were supposed to be for the people of Karamoja region. All I knew was at this time, the office of the Prime Minister was responding to my request I had made earlier. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honourable Minister, for the submission. The floor is open for discussion. Honourable Minister, now that you are aware that the iron seats belong to Karamoja, what is your take?
My take is regrettable, and I join other colleagues to regret, but I am incapacitated to go beyond the regret, because the people who were given this also in my constituency, they were needed. Karamoja as a region, I could state here without fear of contradiction, I'm the first government lawyer to be deployed there during the disarmament. I think I've bathed and eaten food. I know they had water there than most people in this room, other than those who are coming from there. Right now, my ministry is playing one lead role in the issue of disarmament, the issue of the cattle rustling. How I wish that we found a lasting solution, not only as a result of this iron sheets, but listening in here, there are deep issues that we need to all resolve, that Karamoja needs the help of everyone. And government is directing a lot of resources and funds but probably the effect is very minimal. With all those words, I am not in position to go and deroof the church, neither do I have the position to refund. But if it is in the wisdom of this committee that you condemn me to refund what I did not steal, you tell me anything I will do.
But I think, Honorable Minister, you are being very unfair to the committee. I missed, I went outside a bit, but I found you saying that you have no, you don't feel for Karamoja, your place is also vulnerable. Well, we are here.
No.
No,
He
something that
he said his people also vulnerable.
these people are also vulnerable. What does that one mean in this case where we are talking about the iron sheets for Karamoja? To me, it will mean that you are saying, yes, I also took to these people, they are also, well, there's nowhere where we don't have vulnerable people. So you just be fair and say, yes, you took the iron sheets in the wrong way. You are not supposed to have taken those iron sheets. You say, you have some remorsefulness, rather than just saying, you know, I don't know whether the committee went to...
I think the vice chairperson, you missed my opening remarks. Your remorsefulness, I would even shed tears. I've dodged bullets in Karamoja. My first station to start working was in Karamoja, when no single lawyer in this country would want to go to. So the remorsefulness, where you would trade with your own life, for me to come and you say, now the way I'm talking, I am not remorseful. It is regrettable. That is remorsefulness enough. What happened is a big shame and embarrassment to me as a both who has never gotten myself in anything that would taint my integrity, or stealing, somebody said, the spoon, or a tea bag in office. I'm a new minister. I've been a member of parliament for 10 years. I worked in government. The greatest thing that we can protect as an individual, me, is my name. Second thing that I'm faithful to is my conscience. Where my conscience does not blame me, regardless of who is blaming me. So my name, I am here to clear my name that I did not steal. I did not connive. I did not in any way. But that does not give a justification that what happened was right. That's the point I'm saying. It is regrettable. But you can imagine balancing the interest right now have been given by one government official against another group of people. Would it be fair that one government again says, you can remove it there, you have twins? And the reason I said that our people are vulnerable, it is known. Statistics speak for itself that Karamoja, Bukedi, and northern Uganda, those are needy areas. We are not celebrating being needy. We should never take advantage of needy people.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Can we have David?
I also want to thank the Minister for your personal statements in regards to this situation at hand. You are fully, it is indeed very true that you are fully aware of the situation in Karamoja, and you've been participating also early on to make sure that Karamoja is pacified. And we are very, very, very happy for that. What would be your positions in regard to this? Because the iron seat was given to you by the Minister of Karamoja. Perhaps you didn't know it was diverted, and you went ahead, you gave the iron seat to the vulnerable people in your community. Now that you have confirmed that these iron seats belong to the vulnerable people in Karamoja, especially the Karashunas. Madam Chair, let me bring to your attentions, when we were in Kabang for the investigations, we added very clearly that some of the Karasunas, because one, they have missed the iron seats, two, they have missed the goats, they have jumped in the bush to go and buy a gun from Sudan. And this was live from the Karasunas who remained. They were testifying. I'm saying because of the annoyance that they have failed to receive what was meant for them. Yes, they have gone to Sudan to buy guns. Yes, and the numbers of guns has now increased. And that is why the rates of raiding in the border has become very serious. It's because of the annoyance. So, and this is something which is really very serious. And of course, as the Minister for Defense, you are fully aware, you know what is going on. What would be your proposal in regard to this, especially since the Minister has misled you to get something that does not belong to you? What would be your position in regard to that?
But Honourable Minister, know what happens if an exhibit
I will start with the latter. It is confiscated. And that's why I said government, parliament, any investigative arm, I have given the exact location of where these exhibits are. They can go and retrieve. That's how it is done. Nobody brings willingly. In fact, bringing back the exhibit, unless they found it with me still, but it has moved from my hand to another person, so I can only play a role of showing that if they are here, what was stolen, they are here. I'm a good witness. But the point that my brother is bringing out, and this is the sectoral committee. I am so pleased that this is the sectoral committee investigating this matter. Probably the issue of Karamoja will find a lasting solution if the basic things are done. From here, LC5 versus MPs, the list, the commander-in-chief, having gotten a briefing from the division commander, and this is intelligence-based, with the leadership of Karamoja, all these MPs, we meet with them. And we said now, how to settle these people? They need to be given permanent homes. It was out of intelligence-based. Now the Mabati, which is supposed to settle them, you find them in Tororo. And we are failing the commander-in-chief. We are failing, the list is not being used. So this is a matter that is of great interest. So to me, going back to the basics, is that this is the appropriate sectoral committee to make the relevant recommendation that something needs to be done, to be streamlined. We cannot have relief items being given at will. Today one person gives you, another arm, the undersecretary writes, your account. You never gave me in writing. You are asking me to account. I have a copy. This was the voucher, original voucher. I said, where is it written, Karamoja fares? But then I said that is a dull reasoning, because I have already been told OPM has only one store. Honorable Chair and honorable members, when you get involved in Karamoja, you will know that in Karamoja affairs, you will know that it's deep. These things would end. The amount of money government is using is a lot, and then there are no results. Our soldiers are there struggling, and all the neighboring districts are not. Now, when a commander, a division commander says, please use this list, these are the people we have identified as trouble causers. We are settling them. We are giving them amnesty. And now, other people are giving to either agents or political, you know. That is the reason these Mabatis got themselves to Tororo. Because if they had stayed on where it's supposed to be, there would be no reason.
Yeah.
Well, if the word I know this has embarrassed my people of Tororo, who knew me from the beginning, that I stand for the truth. I want to apologize. And if there is need for me to refund this, it's 300 iron sheets. I can work for the next 6 months and raise that 18 million, and I can refund it. But it would be getting somebody else's poo-poo. Before I refund that, the person who led me to this, because I will sue that person for damaging my name.
Thank you. Members, we have to move forward.
Madam Chair of both, that's why being a lawyer is also good. You have mentioned something that we feel that you should actually help us. Now you need to be our partner in finding a lasting solution for Karamoja. You are now at the level of the policy making. Can you help even to see how that Prime Minister's office should operate? Discuss it in the cabinet level. Because if we were to mention what is happening,
what happened
to the courts,
discuss about
no, you need to help us at that level of the cabinet, because something must be done. Otherwise, we shall keep on giving money, giving item, giving relief, and no results. So you need to help us. And we are happy that you
Thank
are
you,
taking...
colleagues. We are time bad. Can we really go to the next person? Can we go to the next person? Can we have our senior?
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I received the iron sheets. But the first thing, it was not the first time. When Kiza was the minister in charge of Nyoro, who was replaced by my sister here, I was given iron sheets, but these not the painted ones. Those which you call against CNN. I hope you understand that. Not only was I given iron sheets, I was even given hose to supply my farmers in my constituency. Two, before this incident, I received the iron sheets. How did I receive them? Somebody rang my personal assistant to say the minister has been allocated iron sheets, I think 300 of them. Would you make arrangement to come and pick? So the assistant hired a vehicle and went and picked them. Now, with this particular case now, again the same way. No, sorry, before I go there. Now, the other turn, I donated these iron sheets to the school called the Maryland. And when I give you my report, I was in the report. These are the iron sheets. I will definitely include these photographs. In addition, we did the fundraising for us to finish the buildings. Now, in this last case, which now has brought us where we are, again, somebody from the stores where I have never stepped, I don't know where that store is, rings my personal assistant. He says, "Oh, you are minister. We have allocated him iron sheets." "You sure?" I said, "Yeah, okay." So he tells me, he says, "Minister, you have been given iron sheets by the office of the Prime Minister." I said, "Sure, well, that is normal for me, that's not a problem, that's normal. You organize." So I gave him some money. he took a vehicle and went and picked the 300 iron sheets and delivered them in my compound. As I was organizing to take them to the constituency, this thing blew up. Kasaijja has stolen iron sheets. I said, what? I said, you iron sheets, stay here. And up to now, they're in the compound. You remember when I came in the other committee? So those iron sheets are here. Some people in the constituency now are being blamed, saying, this man, you see, they gave us iron sheets, he's now going to keep them in Kampala. But I'm waiting an instruction from the office of the Prime Minister in writing how to dispose of these iron sheets. Should I return them? Actually, no. One time I even instructed my PA. I said, you please go return them. Now, when the PA went to the stores of the Prime Minister's office, he found that the keys were locked. The fellow who was around says, no, you can't return them because I have no paper, I have nothing to record. So I said, let them stay there. They're safe, very safe indeed. So, in my view and sincerity, my personal assistant delivered those iron sheets, knowing very well that this is the same thing that has happened before. And you remember, Mama, if I knew that these iron sheets were meant for Karamoja, I would never touch something that goes to Karamoja. Because I'm not needed. 300 iron sheets, I can buy them using my salary that the Parliament gives me here. So, in a nutshell, I have no blame myself, and I feel very sincere on that one. I will stand up whether I'm not guilty. I did not requisition those iron sheets. I never wrote a letter to say, please give me iron sheets, no. And when they were given to me, my thinking was because of the past. During Kiza's tenure as Minister for Bunyoro, we got iron sheets. In last year, they also have iron sheets. I got another 300 iron sheets, which I donated to this school, as I have shown. I feel very clear in my conscience. I have committed no crime. I have not cheated my people of Karamoja because I did not know in the first place. Now, I would like that this committee, you recommend it to me. They are there in the compound. They are there. So if you instruct me, say, Minister, return these in writing that return these iron sheets back to the stores, I would deliver them. I'm waiting instructions from wherever the power, and then I either say no, take them, then I will go and distribute them, because I had already promised people that there are some iron sheets. In fact, now we need problems if I don't deliver them in the constituency. As I've said, people are saying, you said this Kasaijja is keeping our iron sheets in Kampala. So this is the short and long of it. It's a pity. I don't know whether we were somebody wanted to frame us or something like that. You know, the press now is saying, Kasaijja, you have stolen. Me, Kasaijja, steal iron sheets 300? Oh my goodness. Just as my colleague here was saying, really we are hurt. We are really hurt. We are hurt. My daughter rang me in London and said, Dad, you have stolen 300 iron sheets.
But since then, have you tried to talk to Honorable your colleague?
Sorry?
Have you tried to talk to this Honorable colleague of yours? Who have put you people in problems? Have you tried to ask her what was your intention?
Some of them I have not seen since the incident. And I have no appetite to look for them. No, I have no appetite. Because it seems either somebody was trying to implicate us so that our names are tarnished. It's terrible. I have never stolen anything in my life, including because our father says never steal. I have never stolen anything of anybody. I am approaching 8 years. Somebody to tell me at this time that I have stolen 300. Oh my goodness. It's very, very painful, yeah. Very painful.
Minister.
Very painful.
Prime Minister.
Yes, ma'am.
To have the record right, your name is appearing on 2 lists. One for last year,
Yeah.
which came through a regular budget process. Then the one for this year, which is for the supplemental budget.
Yes.
Each giving you 300 iron seats. Did you get both last year and this year?
Yes, that's what I said. Last year, I got 300 iron sheets, and I donated it to this school. The last year. I received them. There's no question about that. I donated this to this school. Anybody can go and check. They were donated.
What is the name of the school?
It's called Maryland High School in a place called Nyamarunda, Church of Uganda. It's not a government school, it's a religious founded school, mission school, if you want to use that one. And then we fundraised
without any directive from any persons, is there any action you want to take? Because you are saying if you get any directive, you will act. But without giving you any directive, the iron seats are in your compound. What do you want to do with them?
No, I'm waiting, because when this controversy came, I could not touch these iron sheets to take them to my constituents. I am waiting for form now, because the thing now is the open. I want the authority to guide me. I have asked the Prime Minister's office, may I take them to the constituency, may I return them to the store? I have not yet received an answer. If this committee can recommend it to me and say, I think Honorable Kasaijja, don't take them to the constituency, return them to the stores, I will return them immediately that very day when I get that instruction.
Okay. Albert, then David, then are you a petitioner, Abraham?
Thank you.
You are. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to thank the Minister for being very honest and sincere. Honorable Minister, you are a senior accounting officer of this country, and there are systems and processes of doing things technically. Now, you are really innocent, but when it comes to the process, it is the process that implicates you. Because there is nowhere in this country where you only use the funds to transact the business. It is normally through paperwork. Now, what do you say about that, Honorable Minister?
Maybe you will do it together.
Okay.
You want to minimize wastage of time, Honorable David?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I also want to thank the Minister for the statement given. Actually, you earlier on mentioned that your PA got a call to go and get the iron seats, which you did not request it.
Sorry?
You did not request for the iron seats.
No.
But the PA got a call that the Minister for Karamoja allocated for you some iron seats, which immediately you accepted. And you also sent the vehicle to go and pick the iron seat and take it to your home. Now, the fact that...
delivering to the constituency.
Yes, the fact that you did not request for the iron seats, and you have even not identified the beneficiaries, but you went ahead, you got the iron seats and put it on your compound, maybe waiting to identify the beneficiaries.
No, waiting for getting transport to deliver them to the constituency.
Yes. Now, given the time frames that you are given iron seats to the time of the incidents, what would you say, given the fact that iron seat has been found at your compound and it is a stolen iron seat? You are fully aware now the iron seat has been stolen from Karamoja. In regard to that, what would you say? That is one. Two, would you really need a directive from the committee to tell you that this iron seat should be taken back, and yet you are fully aware that the iron seat now has been stolen? from Karamoja. What would be your take on?
Thank you. Information from Abraham.
Thank you, Chair. I don't know, all of you caught in the net have issues of integrity in the eyes of the public. And they has entered the records that you have stolen from Karamoja. Two, I'm not a lawyer. I hear there's something called mens rea. The things you do before you commit crime. And all the ingredients, you have tested them. They called you, your PA was informed, and then eventually, the iron sheets at your compound. That alone makes you part of the theft. Three is I'm a chairman NRM in my district. The feeling I have is you, the ministers, have betrayed the president. You have fought the manifesto of the president, the intentions he had for Karamoja's transformation. And now we are in a situation where it is cabinet, it is government, if you like it, versus the people of Karamoja. Madam Chair, it becomes difficult to give this information without asking a question. Because the question would be, what do you as people of Karamoja, because everybody is talking as an individual. Nobody is talking by the fact that you are actually you got into this entitlement by virtue of your positions as ministers. Now let's put the cabinet versus Karamoja. What would you say? It's not just enough to say, what do you say about the iron ships? What do you say about you, a cabinet minister, representing the president, undermining the programs of the president?
Thank you. Can we have Honorable Benjamin?
Honorable Chair, it's from government and donated them to a private school. Yet we have UPE schools and USE schools in your constituency that lack classroom blocks. Was it really fair that you donate iron sheets to a private school where the fees paid by those kids is even high? We would want a comment on that. Then secondly, as a senior minister, you are aware of how relief items should leave the store of government. That there must be a need. There must be a stressed community somewhere that is in need of these iron sheets. But someone just donating 300 iron sheets, and you have clearly told us here you were not even ready to receive them because you didn't have people to take them. Is it really fair?
I did not say that there were no people to take them. No.
Okay.
I never said that.
So it's my question is it fair really to take things without following the due process? Like there must be a need and someone has really asked for those items. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Can we?
Thank you. Now, he supplied us these items. Iron sheets and hose. The only problem with in the system, if you have to make a recommendation in your committee, is that these items should be followed by, what do I call it? Guidelines. Because there are no guidelines. It is we were told to take these things to your constituency and supply to the people who you think are needed. I've told you it's not the first time, it wasn't the second time, it wasn't even the third time to receive iron sheets. And we took them. There was no argument. Hose, as I tell you, hose, I took them. I think I don't remember how many there are. I supplied them to people who are needed, especially those that are who are growing coffee, because I'm trying to promote coffee growing in that constituency. So, the processes, when you say, would you have followed that process? I don't know the process that I would have followed, because in the previous 3, 4, 5 times, it was the same story. So, I really cannot say that I overlooked the processes because those processes, as far as I'm concerned, I don't run the office of, the offices of the Prime Minister. I don't run it. Is something that really me I feel very clear about. I have no gestation, and I do not plead guilty at all, never. Return them back. I've told you I'm going to repeat. These iron sheets, I have wanted, the day when we finished, Madam, you remember that committee? I wanted them to go back. When I sent it, I said, I told my personal assistant, said, you go and get a vehicle and return. The boy went. When he went, he said, the storekeeper said, no, the place is locked. They have taken everything from here, so don't bring them. So what do I do? What do I do?
I think he has explained the same thing twice to this committee. The other one, when he came for the issue of the finances, the accountabilities of the money spent, the 20 billion. He explained himself and he has not changed any position. But we believe you were able to send for us the written accountabilities because we tasked, okay, that issue.
It's a very serious charge to let down my president. We've been moving together with him for now almost 40 years, and I let him down at this time when I'm almost retiring. No. Yes. So no, we're not letting down the president. I've told you there is a weakness. We could say in government there is maybe a weakness in doing these things. As I said, for example, why don't we have guidelines when we issue these things out? They don't give us guidelines. They say you take, and they go and do as you think because they think we are responsible people, and we are responsible people. I cannot pick those iron sheets and go and start selling them on the open market. How can I do that? So we are not undermining the president at all. Why did you give a private owned schools? Now, I go by the needs. That school is a very big school, and it has got a very wide catchment of students. I think the children are about to 1,000. I have also the UPC schools. But the UPC schools, most of them, as far as I'm concerned, they're operating in good buildings. Those which were left by the missionaries, those which government has constructed, they're in very good shape. Therefore, there was no need because if they had asked me, maybe I could have given half to this school and half to the rest. So, as far as I'm concerned, I went by the needs of each of this school. What God wanted is a good school, it's a big school, it's a secondary school. If I had primary schools who also had requested, definitely I would have divided the iron sheets among them. But my primary schools, they are not needed at this material time.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. You can take your leave. Let's have the next person.
Thank you.
But make sure that
I never intended to receive those iron sheets if they are for Karamoja. And as my submissions are, you can check through. The purpose for the letter I received was to inform you about those iron sheets I received, unknowingly that they were for Karamoja. I received the iron sheets in response to my requisitions made to the Right Honourable Prime Minister for assistance to roof Champologoma Primary School and Chiberenge Primary School, all in Luwelo District. I told you I represented the Central Region as a youth member of Parliament, but I'm a resident of Luwelo District. And in Luwelo, to give you a background, I hope you all know about Luwelo, that I do not want to compare them with the people of Karamoja because I feel for those people if you learn their stories, though I've not reached there. But they are also vulnerable. And the other thing is that I'm the only NRM MP, Member of Parliament, because someone would ask why would they use a youth Member of Parliament. The other colleagues of mine are not NRM. So these people, most of them who are veterans, who are NRM originated, approach me for so many requests from the government. So these schools wrote to me requesting for help because they had experienced a hailstorm, so they got unroofed. So when they wrote to me, according to the knowledge I have, that the Prime Minister's office has affirmative action ministries where Royal Triangle also falls, and there are those relief items as we all know. So I wrote to the Prime Minister, attached to the letters from those primary schools which were asking for help. I received 200 pieces of iron sheets on the 4th of July 2022, and their final destinations was those primary schools, because unfortunately I do not have a store that I kept them for a single night. From here to Luwelo is just an hour, even if we went now. So from the Prime Minister, I sent my personal assistant, seated behind me here, Moses Chintu, to hire a car, picked the iron sheets from wherever he was directed to, because he handled that. Mine was to drive to Champologoma and Chiberenge to deliver, and I did so. So the iron sheets were for roofing those schools, those primary schools, Champologoma. They are all government-aided schools, and the contacts for the edu teachers, that is Mr. Mugisha Christopher, are here in 0782 1079 17, and the telephone contact for the edu teacher of Chiberenge Primary School, Miss Nansubuga Jamida, is also here, 773 96 0013. So, with due respect, Madam Chairperson and Honorable Members, that is all I can submit. In regards to the iron sheets I received, not knowing that they were from Karamoja, because personally, by the way, you might wonder, but on record, even if that minister stood there, for God's sake, I do not know him or her, that Karamoja minister. I've never written to her. I've never even greeted her, I think. Like, you all know that we are 529 MPs. So I've never interfaced with her. I've never made any requisition. I've never in my life even greeted her. That's what I can state. I thank you. He told me, he was a gentleman, that I'm from the office of the Prime Minister. We received your request letter for iron sheets. The Prime Minister has directed us to allocate you 200 iron sheets for those schools. So, Honorable, how you can pick them, like in such a manner. So I was here at Parliament, and I told him that I cannot take them now, because my plan, or what went in my mind, was because I do not have a store, as I've informed you. My home, really, I do not have space for such things. So what I did, I told him to give me a few minutes, and I get back to him. So I called my personal assistant, I informed him, and he told me we can pick them tomorrow. So we cancelled all that we had the next day. I gave him money, he went and hired a car. I gave him the contact for that person. They got in touch. Then he took the iron sheets to those schools, of which I was there personally. I went and delivered those iron sheets myself to those schools.
But you
in
have
Luwelo.
just said that the gentleman said the call was in response to your request.
Yes, and all the request letters are here in Madam Chairperson.
So you only made a request to OPM disaster, not Karamoja?
My request was to write Honorable Robin Anabanja, the Prime Minister, the Republic of Uganda, Kampala, it's here. And it is attached in those letters. It is like letter number 4. I've never written to that minister of Karamoja. Nothing.
Members, the floor is open. Honorable.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I want to thank what's happening. It seems this whole scandal of iron sheets actually involves so many people that made decisions. And it seems from the submission the Minister of Karamoja Affairs was only, she had directives from somewhere that we need to dig deep into. Because given the fact that all members of the, I think the OPM were aware that at that particular moment the iron sheets that were in the stores belonged to Karamoja sub-region. So I don't think they made those fulfilled those requests, not knowing whatever was in the stores. So there was control that was beyond that we need to understand, because no one can just give out not knowing what kind of iron sheets in the stores. And given the fact that the purchase order was very clear, you can listen to the, she didn't actually request from the Minister of Disaster where she was supposed to get those iron sheets from, because as a matter of fact, anything to do with what she tells us about hailstones was supposed to come through the Minister of Disaster that was then supposed to attend to a problem. But she did that direct through the Prime Minister. So that is where we need to understand now. When she was given these iron sheets, the person who actually considered a request, was that person aware that the iron sheets in the store were meant for Karamoja, or it was an oversight? Thank you.
Thank you.
Explanation actually answered almost all what I had in my mind to ask her. She has been thorough in terms of having written a letter requesting for the iron sheets. She wrote to the Prime Minister of Uganda, and she received the iron sheets. Chair, I have drawn a simple conclusion in this one, that the next person that we should interface with thoroughly is the Prime Minister. Looking at how the iron seats of Karamoja can be given to a person who has requested a different set. So basically, that is what I would say for her. I don't feel there is anything much I could talk about this, but the Prime Minister has a lot of things here.
Thank you. Information from Abraham.
Madam, with anybody, you have never greeted anybody, and you just get a phone call informing you to come and pick iron sheets. Whose iron sheets? It tells you a lot that we have to go back and really find out why things are done in that way when it comes to Karamoja.
It's not only Karamoja. Members have been testifying. For example, Honorable Kasaijja just said.
Know the person exactly who called her from the office of the Prime Minister. Maybe perhaps with the number. That would be very useful for us to know whether the call was directly from the Minister of Karamoja, or of the PO of Minister of Karamoja, or of the PO of the Prime Minister. I think that would be very useful. I thank you.
Especially those ones who cleared. We have been seeing documents of forwarding, clearing, receive, but for her, there is nothing. So it would be better we call officials from office of the Prime Minister to know who was clearing, who cleared her to take the iron sheets, whether it is from Karamoja Ministry or OPM separate.
Name is Amos Rugorovi. I'm a member of Parliament representing Intenjero North constituency in the Kayunga district. And I'm also the Minister of State in charge of planning in the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. I've been in this Parliament, I think I'm getting into the 13th year in Parliament. I received a letter from you yesterday when I left Parliament here a bit late. When I went back, I found a letter from you requiring me
to appear before you this morning. And indeed, I quickly worked on my papers this morning, which I've just circulated. My story may not be so different from what others have made, but when I was here before I became minister, and I believe it was during the second term, when I was in my second term, I did write to the office of the Prime Minister for relief and non-relief items to support my constituency, because we had a number of dilapidated schools, churches, and other activities. Now, the response did not officially come to me, but what came to me, but not directly, which is actually the same story like many others I've been listening to, there are people in the office of the Prime Minister who called our personal assistants. You know, when you become a minister, they assign you a personal assistant on top of your political assistant. Because in the Ministry of Finance, like other ministries, we are so busy to handle nitty-gritties. We are always moving up and down, doing this and that. Really, even the time for our constituencies, sometimes we fail to find. So our personal and political assistants do much of our work, because we have to follow up on a number of things within the ministry. So indeed, the people in office of Prime Minister called my personal assistant and linked up with the political assistant, and then we received iron sheets. The iron sheets, the first consignment we received from the stores in Namave, was on 15th July on 2 issue vouchers. I think one of the vouchers contained 300 iron sheets. The other one had 100 iron sheets. But also further in February, we received another 300 iron sheets. Now, certainly it did not occur to me that the iron sheets that I was receiving were actually meant for the vulnerable people in Karamoja. It did not occur to me at all, because previously we belonged actually to Luwero Rwenzori. Our district belongs to Luwero Rwenzori. And sometimes people from that region receive affirmative action from Office of the Prime Minister, basically from that office. But I think there are, which the facts that we have to admit, that within the Office of Prime Minister, they need to work on the administrative issues associated with the delivery of relief and non-relief items. For example, the delivery notes that we received by my personal assistant, indicated that the materials being given were for relief / non-relief items, and nothing was clearly mentioned what these iron sheets were meant for. And they were for, according to this delivery note, for my onward distribution and delivery. As to who, that is not specified. So it is clear from this paper that a lot of discretion is on me on how to utilize the items that I'm receiving, depending on the need. I should mention that indeed, when I wrote that letter of long ago, as it is now, I had certain needs. For example, I had a school called St. John's Busari to roof. They needed a number of iron sheets. It was constructed by the community, and they said, we are doing the construction, your work will be mabati. I didn't get the mabati in time, and the trees were rotting. So what I did, I bought the iron sheets. I remember spending 14 million shillings to buy iron sheets for that building. There was also another one, which was a church, Namagabi Church of Uganda. Again, they wanted iron sheets, and I remember buying iron sheets for them. I think I spent over 11 million shillings. There was a school called Chibuzi Secondary School, St. John's. Because I did not receive these non-relief or relief items, again, I riffed those two buildings with my own resources. Because I know that as a representative for these people, I have a duty, whether I get or I don't get. So by the time I received these, the need that was in place was actually for the items that I've indicated in this letter, which is item 3, the utilization of the said iron sheets, including the details of actual beneficiaries. I gave 84 pieces of iron sheets to the community school, New Hope Primary School in Busolo village. And the details are there of the contact person who could be called on those numbers. I did also provide 316 pieces towards the goat breeding and multiplication project, which is intended to provide economic empowerment for our people, because our people, in a way, have become needy. Why? We used to be among the largest producers of coffee and banana. Today, those are almost vanished. They are finished because of the diseases that happen to them. Now, many of my households there don't have a source of livelihood. So we happen to get support from State House to support a community in a certain parish called Sotoka Parish. In that community, State House has a program called Poverty Alleviation something, but on poverty alleviation. That's an intervention intended to create a model parish within a particular area. So they are providing goats to the community in that parish. Now, I had a challenge when they invited me to commission that project in that parish. The challenge I had was that they were going to create a model parish when there are so many other needy parishes. So I said, now what do I do? Because I asked them, are you going to extend this support to other parishes? They said, no, we just create one model parish which you can replicate in other areas. So in terms of utilization, I took actually a decision that I should rear the goats. I found the project viable because what I needed was some female goats and male goats. I acquired the goats. I constructed the house for them because goats actually cannot stay outside like cows. They have to be housed. They go out during the day, they come back in their home at night because they don't do well with rainfall. So I constructed a big shed wherein I put the breeding goats. The idea is that I multiply these goats because goats deliver 2 goats in 6 months. 2 goats. In a year, or slightly more, you get about 4 goats. So I thought that if I gave a goat plus a male goat, a he-goat, I should be able to help communities. And that is a project that I'm promoting now, and it is ongoing. Because to try and balance what was being done in Embondo parish. And it is not so costly, because the land and shrubs I had, and these goats feed on shrubs, mainly. They don't feed on the grass on the ground. So I happen to have that family land in Misanga, which I've indicated here. So I built this to purposely provide affirmative action to different households by empowering them economically. And that is the concept of my affirmative action, the way I used those iron sheets. Now, the last lot, the 300 pieces, were given to a church, a town church in Busana, which we are constructing. So in total then, we have 700 sheets. But what I've learned is that some of these do not actually belong to the Karamoja source, because I received a call from Ruero Rwenzori asking me to account for some of these iron sheets during this period of the fiasco. You know, he called me. So I learned that actually all the 700 do not belong to the Karamoja, but I need to be properly advised on what constitutes those iron sheets for Karamoja. Now, I should also add that on the goat shed which I had constructed, the first time actually I knew about it is when the anti-corruption unit of State House called me, and I appeared before them, and they told me that you have a structure carrying Karamoja sheets. And this is the first time I learned that the iron sheets that I put on that shed were actually sheets, the iron sheets meant for the Karamoja region. Now I said that I really did not know that these were meant for the people of Karamoja. If I knew, perhaps I would not have taken them. So we actually discussed how to make good. And I had initially, because they were saying we have to recover the iron sheets. Then I said it does not make sense to recover the iron sheets because you will not use them anyway. So I said if I could know where these iron sheets were sourced, manufactured, I would be willing to buy and replace them. Initially, we agreed to that arrangement, where I would make good the iron sheets on top of that roof. And unfortunately, the following day before we could execute this, a big story came out in the New Vision. Now, the team changed their position and said, we don't want you to buy the iron sheets. We want to recover those ones. Of course, I had no choice because that's what they said. They want to recover them and look for money, buy my own iron sheets, and put them there because I wouldn't allow my goats to die. So we removed the iron sheets and handed over to them at that particular place. So they recovered the iron sheets and brought them. So it's unfortunate that this really happened. I'm personally touched because it is not my intention to really hurt any person, any particular community. You know, it's not my intention at all. And I'm feeling very sorry about this. So, but we can discuss a way forward on this, because it was not intentional, really. It was not intentional at all. And there's a lot of room for improvement in how relief items can be provided to these various communities. I think there's a lot to discuss at the policy level after this inquiry or during the process of this inquiry on how issues like this can best be streamlined. For now, I think I'll put it as that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. The red information availed to us indicates that you got iron seeds twice. One was last year, you got 300. Then this year it's also 300. So making 600.
My record has 700.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
And
the
I
one for
suspect
Karamoja?
that could be for the Ruwero.
Yes. So what up?
Yeah, that they were mixing these things up,
Yeah.
making it very complicated for us to know what is for Ruwero, what is for Karamoja.
It's true. At the beginning of this meeting, there was a procedural matter raised by Honorable Stephen, which we have tried to clarify. There's a lot outside about the list of the beneficiaries, but for us, we have narrowed up to the level of those who actually got it. The minister made a request with a very long list, but we went to the extent of reaching the store to confirm out of the many how many people got the iron seeds. Our names are there, even my name is there on the request of the Honourable Minister. The petitioners are there on the name on the list of the Honourable Minister. But that's why we have moved up to the last to find out actual those who got it. And we wanted the Honourable Minister here so that we could have a more comprehensive interaction, but she did not make to this meeting. But for us, that is what is available. So, our colleagues, the floor is open for discussion of this submission.
He has been so calm and open to. When I first heard about this from the media, my perception was so different from what I've heard now. Goats and cows to be roofed house, but not human beings suffering. Now, my question would twist a bit. You said there was a presidential model project that was given to your constituency. Out of that model project, you realized it was not going to benefit everybody. And you chose to create your own model project. How many iron seeds did you use to roof your own? Then two, do you have a letter from the OPM that asks you to return the said iron seeds that belong to Karamoja? If you would furnish us with that letter as well. Three, in your own wisdom, did you try to figure out if unroofing your kraal, that iron seed that was used to roof your kraal, if unroofing the iron seed that was used already, will they be reusable to the people of Karamoja? If you could as well give us the specific number of the iron seats out of the total that you got, the one that you were told came from the lower budget. Thank you.
It's early on, before he became the minister. And later on, he was given twice. He was given the iron seat twice. I wanted to find out in your letter, submissions, your letter you have written requesting for the iron seats, whether the number of the iron seats you requested is the number of the iron seat given to you. If you can clarify that, I think that would be useful. Thank you.
Presentation of the minister, but he's not specific on the person who contacted him. So I wanted to know, and then besides that, I also want to know the times that you requested for iron sheets, where did you address that letter to? Was it to disaster or in general? Because I'm seeing you received a call from the office of the Prime Minister. So because you need to be specific, like maybe PA of the Prime Minister or the PA of the Minister. And then two, during your presentation, I also picked interest. Maybe you will tell us more about your project of goats, because this issue of iron sheets is going hand in hand with the goats. So, did you receive the iron sheets, and at the same time, so where did the goats come from? Is it part of that project of Karamoja? Because we also have that interest, because we are also investigating about the goats. Did you receive these goats together, the iron sheets with the goats as well, or this is a totally different project? Thank you.
Minister maybe has to date this report, to put a date on this report which you have written.
Honorable Chair, I want to ascertain from you, you have clearly stated to us that the President has had an initiative. The President had an initiative of putting goals, initiative, yes, of rearing goats in that area. And you copied from that venture that the initiative of the President was not going to be enough in order to supply the communities there. So it was all under your prerogative in order to also put another one in place, so that in the future you also use the same in order to supply your communities who are very, very vulnerable. Can you give us some project documentation in order to know that actually what we are doing was intended in order to benefit the communities there? From your own project documentation, the one you are having, in order to know that it was really going to benefit the communities, not yourself.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is more to do with an observation. From all the ministers you have shared, the highest people who have received more iron sheets are from the Minister of Finance. and I'm wondering what was really so special that they were the ones who were treated in a more Thank you.
Whether what we are following is a faction, because I think there is a lot of under-declaration. Because when you go back to the first time when the information hit the media, the figures were extremely different from what we seem to be discussing now, and I'm just wondering, where was the media getting this from? And then secondly, does the committee have a basis, I mean, in terms of the records in the stores? What was there before the bonanza was touched on? So that as people are saying, I am going to bring back, I am going to do this, are we going to get back to where we were so that we get started? Because
I think that is for me and the committee.
okay.
We have never, but only relied on authentic documents that we received. And consistently, we now know how many iron seats that we have for Karamoja in the store and the ones we are investigating. So, honorable colleague, for us, we're on the track. We don't know where the media is getting its statistics. Probably it is the one for the requisition. Because yesterday somebody called me, I asked for that document. It is the one the minister used for the requisition, but not for the distribution. That is where the mess is. And we have all the documents. Thank you. And that is why, Honorable, we have fewer beneficiaries compared to what is outside. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Dennis, how many iron sheets that are used for roofing for the shed? I think the answer is right in the paper, the letter I've just circulated, the 316. That's the number. Now, as to whether I have a letter from OPM asking me to return the iron sheets, the letter I got from them was to account for the iron sheets, how I use the iron sheets. But I don't have any letter that is asking me to return the iron sheets. As I mentioned, it was only the anti-corruption unit that engaged me on the sheets, that iron sheets I used for the gold structure. And they decided to recover the ones that were on the roof, and I replaced them with the ordinary iron sheets other than the ones for Office of Prime Minister. I had the option, because I had told them that recovering the iron sheets would be costly, because 20 roof is a cost. I had offered to buy, but later they chose that they recover the iron sheet. I think they have other reasons, because this matter is not only in Parliament, but there are other detectives that are following up these matters.
Honorable Chair, before the Minister leaves the question of accountability, he has said that he received a letter asking him to account. So we would want to know when and whether we can benefit from that copy of accountability which you gave to the ministry, to the OPM.
Yeah, that is not very recent. Actually, it was after the matter had become public that letter was requested. And you will not find my response very different from what I'm giving you. Yes. Now, the question as to whether the iron sheets, in my opinion, would be reusable. Certainly, I had a different view, which was not accepted. I was willing to do good by replacing the iron sheets, now that they had told me that these iron sheets belong to Karamoja region. Then the exact number for Ruwero, Rwenzori, I think the chair has privy to additional information towards this. I think she said that Karamoja is 600, and that means, because she has the record, which I don't have, the 100 was from Ruwero.
And supplementary, Honourable Minister and colleagues, the first 300 got last year was from the regular budget, not the supplementary. It is the 300 that you received this year, which falls under the supplementary budget. Thank you.
Whether the number that I requested equals the number that I was given, unfortunately, because my request is well back when I had an office here, and I couldn't get access to my files then. I could not get the letter. I could only recollect that I requested for relief items from Office of Prime Minister. So I don't have those numbers, but certainly my request was much bigger, because I think I've labored to enumerate to you some of the projects that I wanted to undertake using the support from OPM, which did not happen at that time, and I went ahead and did it myself. There's a question relating to the contact. You know, the PAs in different ministries contact one another. I do not know which particular PA contacted my PA. It's a matter that I can take interest in to try and find out which particular PA was contacted. But what she told me, that was contacted by someone from Office of the Prime Minister.
But again, that one we don't want to burden you, because the PA from Karamoja ministry confirmed to us that he did it to the beneficiaries on behalf of the minister.
Okay. Now, who did you address the letter to? In my recollection, I addressed the letter to the Prime Minister then. The Prime Minister then, not the current one. And there's an interesting question here about the relationship that you're talking about goats and the iron sheets. And my report is also talking about goats and iron sheets. Is there a connection? I think these are different goats. They are not the goats that are meant for Karamoja. These are totally different. Yes, it's just by coincidence that I have this project. You know, colleagues, the State House really, just for information, because some of you are MPs.
And it falls under this committee.
Exactly. So they have that program of model villages, model parishes, which they do. If you are lucky, they will come to your area and do it. But it can be, you know, counterproductive one way or the other, because they do it in a particular area, because you get votes from elsewhere. It can cause you very serious problems unless you are very careful. Yes, and this is what I'm doing to try and balance the intervention on my own. Because goats make a lot of sense. They produce very fast. Very fast. So now and you only need to provide some to some households, and then you tell them to send the offsprings to their neighbors and so on. So I think it will work for me. Now, there is the allegation that finance received more than others. I think that is not correct. I think we are in terms of benefit, we are the least beneficiaries, because our numbers are in the 300, like that, when others are talking about 5,000, 2,000. You know, they did not give us that much. And in fact, I should tell you, I did not know, for example, that Honorable Kasaijja had also been given. I had no idea who actually got. I just thought that maybe it's a response to my request, which I made some time back. I did not take interest to know who else actually benefited from this arrangement. The under declaration, the media figure, I think, Chair, you have answered that one, and I think that was the last question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to say something small. I think this was something funny. Whenever I called the store manager, Osbert, he would tell me that he had already been transferred. And yet he's the one delivering even from here. He could just tell me that I've been transferred from the stores, I'm no longer there. But I think it was a plan with the minister in charge that any Karamoja MP who calls you for iron sheets, tell them that I have been already transferred from that docket. So it was something that was funny, planned. Thank you.
A member of the Karamoja. I'm the petitioner. Yeah, I can give you information to the effect that the story of the minister on building the shed for goats is like mine. I made a request of 130 iron sheets. Yes, if the minister made a request to build a shed, I made a request of, you are going to investigate after my statement.
Okay.
Yes. So I say I made a similar request in my constituency. I'm a neighbor to Honorable Hillary. Our constituencies have one border. So in his constituency there is a fertile place in a mountain called Mormole, where I have a farm. So every year, when people produce a lot, the food gets spoiled. So I sympathize with the community around there, and I said, why don't I build a store? So I only needed 130 iron sheets, and then I would provide the rest of the materials. But this did not happen. I first wrote to John Bagambi, the then minister at that time, and then later I did not, he accepted it. So when I gave it to my minister, she received it, but when time came around September, every material was ready. She says there are no iron sheets. So you can just imagine, I was surprised to see that these have been given to other people. And if I got 130, I would have built a shed that would sell to people.
God saved you.
So I
now
think
you will be appearing.
I would be appearing, we should have been bad.
So you thank the minister for not giving you.
So I think God was talking to the minister in another way, so
yes.
that I'm not in the list. Thank you very much.
But you on the list. Members from Karamoja are all on the list. Apart from Abraham,